Good evening. This is a project, a meeting regarding Derwent Reconstruction. I know we're having the meeting a little early compared to when the job's going to start, but with the holiday and the summer, most people are going to be away. Right? As everybody should know me, I'm Chuck Molinaro, Superintendent of Public Works. George Zender, Supervisor of Public Works, my assistant, and working the computer is Steve Neal, in charge of economic development and whatever else needs to be done in Verona. This project is probably not going to start till the middle of July, which is still a month and a half away, but we've been getting so many phone calls regarding what was going on in Derwent. We felt we needed to update the people and keep you posted and keep you in the loop. As you noticed, we already came and clear cut all the trees. We clear cut all the trees because we're doing a lot of drainage and the trees were in the way and they were going to get damaged. So it was easy just to take them all down and start fresh. Everybody get a letter. You get a nice tree in front of your house if you like it, and we'll replant the street and it'll get back to the way it used to be. Public Works was on the street for a couple of days every week. For now and then, we dug all the curb boxes. The curb box is the valve that shuts the water off going to your house. We found out a lot of them didn't work. We weren't comfortable with that. Me and George, you have a problem in the middle of the night, we can't shut your water off. We dug all 65 of them up. So everybody's curb box now has worked. Joe, you're familiar with what I'm talking about. Everybody's curb box does work now. So that was a little bit of a holdup with the contractor because it's something we didn't anticipate, and it came upon us to do, and we figured we want to get it done before construction started. A lot of your houses have pavers between the sidewalk and the curb. We pile them up on your property. We will put them back in when the job is done. All right, you have to realize, which a couple people didn't understand, all the sidewalks on this job are coming out. Both sides of the street are getting all new sidewalks. So we're going to rip up between that sidewalk and the curb anyway. Plus you're getting curbing. So everything up there is going to get ripped up. I've said it to many meetings, it's going to be noisy, it's going to be messy, it's going to be inconvenience, it's going to be aggravating. You got to look for the end product. When we're done, it's all worthwhile. We just finished Ann Cypress and Willow today. Go take a look at that. It was a mess. It was a disaster. It's a beautiful project. George stayed with the paving guys till late tonight. It's all paved. It's ready to go. As I discussed with you earlier, we're doing drainage. We're rebuilding catch basins. We're resetting manholes. We're doing all the sidewalks. We're doing all the curbing. We're putting all new driveway aprons in. We're milling. We're paving. The street will be done from soup to nuts. Driveway aprons, we match the size of your driveway. So if you have a 2-car driveway with a 1-car apron, we will make the apron meet your driveway. Because a lot of people extended their driveways over the years and never extended the apron. The apron will meet your driveway. As usual, if you have a sprinkler in the curb line between the sidewalk and the curb, we're probably going to rip it up. Do not have your sprinkler company fix it. If you have them fix it, that's on your dime. If the contractor doesn't put it right back, me and George have 3 guys on staff who are sprinkler men. We will come and fix it. If you pay your contractor, your sprinkler person to do it, I'm sorry, we're not going to reimburse you. We can take care of it in-house. All the garbage, all the recycling, all your bulk, all your leaf bags, everything we picked up is normal. Every week, every day, it'll be a normal pickup. If it gets missed, give my office a call. Between me, George, one of the guys, we will definitely come and pick it up. When they're ripping up in front of your house, you got to leave your car on the street, of course. The police know that we'll get a letter. Nobody will get a ticket. God forbid you do get a ticket, let us know, and we'll explain to the chief, that we're in the reconstruction. The contractor tries to knock on everybody's door day to day, but the job is basically common sense. If you left this morning and there are 12 houses down from you doing curbing, ripping up driveways and aprons, common sense, they're going to be in front of your house tomorrow. Don't park in your driveway. Park down the block. Park out of the way. The street will be safe every night for fire, rescue, and police. We want to make sure we get in there. If anybody knows of anybody who's handicapped, elderly, a shut-in, let us know. We will make sure they have to get to doctors. We will get them there. They got to do dialysis or cancer treatments. We will get them there. We will get them in and out of the house. And if they are shut-ins, we will check on them. Make sure they're fine if nobody can get to them. Same way if you're handicapped, you got to get out and you just need somebody to help you walk you out to your car. We will help you. We will get you out to your car. We're trying to make this as inconvenient as possible. It's going to be very inconvenient, but we're trying to cut off all the inconveniences and make it simple for you. And that's basically the whole project. Like I said, this was just a quick get together because we've been getting so many calls. We've been getting inundated with calls of what's going on. But why they do this, why they do that. This is why we did everything. So it'll be a good project when it's done. It's going from Linden to Claremont. We're doing end to end. All those sidewalks by Walgreens will be taken care of and repaired. Steve and our building department, I know a couple of you here have called me on concerns, are talking to Walgreens about cleaning up, straightening up, getting that looking nice. Especially when we get done with that street, we don't want all that garbage and stuff there again. So Steve and our building department are on top of that. And of course, me and George are always here if you got a call or complaint. Just give us a holler. You will have my cell phone number when the job starts. You'll have George's cell phone number. You got a problem, give us a call. Don't talk to the contractor. First of all, most of them don't talk English. And second of all, we work for you, they work for us. You got a problem, tell us, we'll go see the contractor and we'll straighten the problem out. There'll be an inspector from our engineering firm, Boswell Engineering. He'll be out there periodically, checking on things, making sure things are right. Me and George will be there regularly. You'll probably see me 2-3 times a day. You'll probably see George 10 or 12 times a day. He makes a point to ride through all the projects. Just maybe not stop, just see what's going on. Is this not right? I don't like the way it is, but if there's a problem, he calls us and we get it straightened out. And that's basically the whole project. It's like I said, it's cut and dry. We just wanted to give you a heads up so everybody knows what's going on. So, yes, sir.
Chuck, how long do you think the project's gonna take, weather permitting?
Weather permitting, that project's probably gonna take us a good 3 months. Unless something bad happens, it will be done this year. It will be milled, paved, and finished this year.
So start to finish 3
Start to
months.
finish, I say we could do it in 3 months, weather permitting, of course. You never know what we're gonna run into. I mean, you dig a hole, you're hoping it's all dirt and you can hit a rock that's gonna take you 2 days to get out. So that's our game plan. Unless something major happens, that job will be done from soup to nuts by the winter time.
I know you had to do the water things yourself. When was initially, what was the GC's start date at the beginning?
The GC start date should have been starting the middle of June,
Okay.
but I pushed him back because I didn't know how fast, because I squeezed the water boxes in. Besides all my other field work and grass work, if you notice, we were there today, we weren't there tomorrow. We were there on Friday, we weren't there on Thursday. You know, so we had to push him back. I couldn't ask him to wait in his garage for me to start. He started another job, which I understand. He's got to make a living. He's got to make a living.
So he, you guys pushed it back,
Right.
not him.
No. He was ready to start at the beginning of the season. Once George had the crew start checking the curb boxes and we found so many bad, I wasn't comfortable.
Check them all.
Check them all. We got to check them all. We got to fix them all.
Now, I guess another tough part is what you were saying, when we're ready, when you're ready, all the GC subs, when it didn't start running off and go on to other jobs, he's gonna have to get them all lined up in the order he wants them.
Stanzial Construction is basically no GCs. He does the milling, he does the paving, he does the concrete work. 99% of the guys on that job are Stanzial's men.
Who's doing the putting in a drainage system?
Stanzial.
Hey,
The one contractor who's doing it all. He's doing the drainage, and he's worked for us many years. I know him well. I know his family. He's done many jobs in Verona. He does top quality work.
I was more concerned in terms of if he had 4 or 5 subs.
No.
And they run off to get jobs when we're ready.
No.
They're all off somewhere and it throws it
Now
back.
he does everything himself.
He does it all. He does the concrete work. He does it all. He does the drainage. He owns his own trucks. He owns his own miller, his own paver. He's got it all. He's got it all.
So you said we're still gonna park, we can't park on the street doing all of this, right?
Sure. Yes, you can.
Oh,
You got to stay out of the way of the contractor. Like I said, it's a little bit of common sense. If the contractor is working across the street from your house, try to stay in your driveway.
I was more thinking of it when your harder part is gonna be when you're putting in this drainage system, you're gonna have the whole street opened up, right?
We'll have open up. You might come home today, or you might go out tomorrow morning to go get coffee at Dunkin' Donuts, and you're going to go out towards Linden. By the time you come back, we're going to have to get an officer to get you in through Derwent. It's just going to be an inconvenience. There's going to be trenches across the road. It's going to be an inconvenience. Like I said, it's inconvenience. It's dirty, it's messy, and it's noisy.
So this won't be having to park on the side streets for 3 months?
No. The only time we're going to ask you not to park on the street, the day we're milling,
Right.
and the day we're paving. Once George gets done with the paving crew, we shut the street down and we let it cool. It needs a couple hours to cool. That's when you're going to have to park on Linden, Edgemere, Derwent, like that. But during the job, you'll get in and out. You know, and like I said, everybody's got to just use common sense. If they're working across the street, don't put your car park in front of your house. Now I can't get up and down the road. If they're working in front of your house, park it 20 houses down. Everybody get a little exercise.
So you figured the middle of July for 3 months till.
Right, middle of July. He told me he's shooting his best for the middle of July. Might be the end of July, but he will be here. He's a stand-up contractor. We know him well. We've dealt with him before. He will be here.
I'm just thinking how far into the cool weather when you can still do paving.
We could pave probably up to Thanksgiving. If the weather doesn't really make a drastic drop.
40, 45 degrees.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. And if we have another winter like this winter, we got it made.
It was nice that you got a good head start.
Yes, we did. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
Yeah, so you said you're gonna replace the trees. From what I understand, there's an ordinance in town that says you have to replace the tree that's taken out, maybe there's 2 trees per one, something like that.
You're talking about the homeowners ordinance?
I'm not sure, it was a friend of mine on the planning board mentioned this to me. Anyhow, the reason I'm posing the question is because one of the reasons I moved to Derwent or Verona was tree lined streets,
And that's
ordinance, right? Clear cutting the street, that affects quality of life as far as going out and looking what your street looks like. So I'm hoping that when all is said and done, that we're gonna at least replace what was taken out. Bare minimum.
Right now, the mayor and council's policy is everybody will get a letter and we ask you if you want a tree.
So that means,
We cut down 110 trees on Ann, Cypress and Willow due to drainage. We put 97 trees back. 9 out of 10 people want a tree back. We've learned through the past. This young man doesn't want a tree. I forced one in front of his house. He's not taking care of it. He's not watering it. He's not worried about when he whips around it, the tree dies. We planted more trees in the past, years and years ago, that people didn't want because we just put them in and we wind up ripping them down again. If somebody wants a tree, they're going to water it. They're going to nurture it. They're going to take care of it. They're going to make sure it's growing. I guarantee you, you'll get at least 80 to 90% of those trees back on the street.
I recall when the initial work was done back in 2010, when trees were placed in, at that point, people were getting letters asking, you know, tree for your house. I don't think anybody was actually going out and watering the trees. From what I remember, they were just growing on their own. They were doing fine.
You'll be surprised. I mean, take it from me. We plant 50, 60 trees a year just on our own for people that ask throughout the town. Most people take care of it. Believe it or not,
And
most
what I'm
people
saying
take
is
care
the
of it.
ones I saw that were not taken care of did just fine. So that doesn't sound like a good reason to
It
not.
does, they do just fine unless you have a 100-degree summer. You have a hot summer, they're not doing fine. It's like me putting you out in the sun all day.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but I mean, if it turns out that half of the people don't want trees.
Then I will address it with the mayor and council, I will address it with Steve, I will address it with the town manager, and we'll take it from the next.
The goal is you'll be getting cards and letters from the Shade Tree Commission too, kind of encouraging you to accept a tree, to have a tree
Of
planted.
course.
And then the tree care options, you know, everything that goes along with that. So that is the goal right now for this project. It is not a full replacement of every single tree. Going forward, we are working with the Shade Tree Commission on a new plan. But like Chuck was saying, even on Linwood, walking around, we put a lot of trees back on that project and some did not make it. So people just didn't take care of them. A lot of them are fine if you left undone, but if we get a hot summer and it's dry, people aren't watering it, it's gonna die.
Most people want a tree back. Take it from me. I mean, every tree we cut down in town, no matter where it is, the people get a letter. 9 out of 10 times.
Sometimes they want 2.
Sometimes they want, yeah.
We give fed.
Most people want a tree back.
So there isn't any kind of mandated ordinance put in place by, at least at the state level, that says you need to replace X number of trees. And if it doesn't fall on the citizens and it falls on the town, if the onus is on them to come by and water the trees?
I don't have enough manpower to go out there and work. I just put 90-something trees on Ann and Cypress. I put 75 or 80 trees on Linwood. I put another 50 on Derwent. I need a guy just to water trees all day. I don't have that kind of manpower.
And just so the township tree ordinance, which I think is what you're referring to, the township, state, county, and public utilities are exempt from that.
Our exemption.
The ordinance is a town ordinance, not a state ordinance. It's not a federal law. It's a town ordinance. You will get most of your trees back, I promise you.
So next question related to this, I think you're gonna probably answer the same way, is there's an area of Derwent from just about where Walgreens begins to Bloomfield Avenue that's just god awful in terms of the walk there. Just it's a concrete jungle. It's horrible. Why can't we take that there? Why are you doing this big project? Put in some nice grass while you're there, throw in a couple of trees, make it a little bit more.
We could look at the bid. I haven't looked at the bid recently.
Yeah, right now, that's not how it was spec'd out. It actually changed.
I could look into it.
I mean, just for, in terms of, if some people do refuse the trees, that's one way to kind of put some more trees back into the system.
I can't force the trees on Walgreens in that office neither. They're just like a resident. I can't go to Walgreens and say, I'm putting 5 trees along your curb line.
Isn't there a way to pipe in some kind of irrigation into the system?
No, we don't have that. We have the ability, you're talking a lot of money. And now who's paying for the water? You know, it's not gonna happen. You'll get most of your trees back. You'll get most of your trees back. You will be a tree lined street again. Take a ride around Linwood. You know, the next day or two, take around Ann Cypress and Willow, look at all the stakes I got sticking up for trees we planted. You'll get most of your trees back.
How large are the trees they're replanting? Are they at least the size of the smaller ones they took out?
We plant from 2 to 4 inches in diameter. We plant the proper trees now. We plant certain trees that go on the wires, certain trees that fit between the sidewalk and curb, trees that aren't high rooted. Right now, we work with ivy silk lilacs, but we're trying to expand our tree planting to a more variety of 5 or 6 or 7 different trees. But, you know, we want the right ones. We want the right one. Excuse me. Most of the sycamores on that street were horrible. Most of the people on that street didn't want them. They've been bugging us for years to take them down, and we don't. We get a, as the letter said, we're Tree Town USA. We don't cut down a tree because you don't like it. We don't cut down a tree because it's ugly. We try to plant and have as many trees as possible in Verona because we want tree lined streets, and that's what we try to put back.
Yeah, those trees, as big and nice as they look, they're absolutely horrible on the infrastructure. So underground, they destroy the water lines.
Rip
They
up
have
the
high
sidewalks,
roots.
yeah.
As you can see, they're spilling over into the street, a lot of those big trees. At the time when they planted them 60, 70 years ago, they looked beautiful, but now they're too big. They're not the right trees. They interfere with the above ground utilities, PSE&G's lines. They always hammer us. They're the wrong trees. Now, those trees are probably near end of life anyway. So we want to replace them with the right tree in the right spot. There's a whole training on it. The state pushes, you know, certain growth, so does PSE&G. So we're trying to work around that. Yet it's pretty shocking at the start when you see something pretty much clear cut like a street like Derwent. But going back, the right trees will be in, give it a few years, it'll start to come back a little bit.
So you mentioned that it might actually be possible to do something about that area from the end of Derwent by Walgreens.
I can't promise you tomorrow or
Yeah.
next week, we'll look at the plans. We'll see if there's something that we could do there.
We'll have to look at it, but I'll be honest with you, this project is subject to public bidding. The bid was out, it's awarded, this project is done, it's under contract. We could look at maybe some options, but I don't know
What we
if
could
we'll
do.
be able to do it.
Even at the very least, just putting grass in all the way up to the end of Bloomfield Avenue.
Yeah,
Well-
we'll have to look at it with our engineering firm.
I'm not gonna tell you we're gonna blow you off. We're gonna look at it. We're gonna talk to our engineering
Yeah.
firm and see, you know. What's about, but in the same respect now, that's Walgreens. Are they gonna take care of it? That's data life. Are they gonna take care of it? Or is it gonna turn into a dirt bowl? So that's another thing I thought. It's gonna be just weeds. Are they gonna cut the grass and water the way you do in front of your house?
Yeah, the one side too, there's a lot of underground utilities that PSE&G did. They have underground there, but I go
Data
across
life,
the alley.
oh, data life.
It's on the
That's
data
all
life
new
side,
main.
so
Right, we gotta, there's a high service gas main in there.
we can definitely look at it, but there's a lot of utilities on
Yeah.
that
I'll
side.
definitely talk to our engineering firm, take a walk at the job. I'll meet up. One of us will meet with Scott tomorrow.
I appreciate you considering it. I just think at the very least, grass doesn't seem like it's gonna interfere with the infrastructure, and it seems like there's probably varieties of grass that are pretty hardy that would, you know, I get they have to cut it, but
Well,
it seems like a.
we'll be more than happy to look into it. We'll look into it. But like I said, we promise you, we're gonna put as many trees back as we can. Yes, sir.
When you first drop one in, how tall is the tree? 3, 4 feet?
They're 2 to 3 inch diameter, probably 6.5 feet.
I was
You know,
gonna
our
say-
biggest problem now is getting trees. The problem we have with getting trees, we had that warm spell about a month ago. The trees that were planted bloomed, then it got cold and they went back in. Everybody's scared to dig trees. Or they'll dig them, they won't give you a guarantee because they went dormant again. That's why I'm having a little bit of time to get the trees. I'll get them for Ann Cypress and Willow, but it's taking me a little bit of time.
So they're actually 6 feet to begin, roughly.
They're roughly 5 to 6 feet, depending, 2 to 3 inch diameter. It's a decent tree. It's a nice looking tree. Is it big and beautiful? No, it's a nice tree. It'll be there in a couple of years. Like I said, your idea is to look at the end project, the end of the paving, 2 years from now, how good is everything? Yes, sir.
as we get into July, will there be another meeting or another letter to say?
You'll get letters throughout the whole job. You'll get a letter when I know the job is starting. You know, when the contractor calls me and says, I'm starting
Yeah, but,
July 20th.
but what I meant was a timeline. You know, so from like mid-July to September, like what's going to occur this month,
No,
this-
we can't give you a timeline because it's a lot to do with weather permitting. The first thing they're gonna do when they get in there is start doing drainage.
Yeah.
That's the major thing. They're gonna start putting the drainage in, ripping everything up, running all the drainage. Going down Derwent from Linden, the left side is getting complete drainage. We want to catch all that water.
the east side.
The east side, I don't know my northwest, east and south, so I can't help you there.
Okay, I talked with the gentleman who was a town engineer.
Right, the one who left us, yes.
And I'm trying to coordinate some projects, a driveway, which I guess will be after everything's all done.
Out of recommendation to you, you do whatever you think, do the driveway at the end. Do what your driveway when we're gone. There's a good chance that for me to make the grade from the street to your driveway, I gotta do a cutback on your driveway. I might have to cut back 3 or 4 feet and patch it so your car doesn't scrape when you pull in. I wouldn't do your driveway, you know, you're gonna put a new driveway in and I'm gonna cut it back 3 feet. You're not gonna be happy.
And I'm also a double wide apron too, so
Right.
I will wait.
Yes, I would definitely wait on your driveway. I would
Yeah.
definitely wait. And then again, you don't want to be pulling in and out with all the dirt, all the tack, all the rocks. Wait on your driveway as long as you can.
Okay, and then he was also talking about drainage from my gutters. He said, take it out to the sidewalk, leave it, and then the town will.
We will drop a pipe in from, excuse me. We will drop a pipe in from the under drain, which is called, to the inside of the sidewalk. We will leave you a 4-inch piece of PVC pipe with a clean out. It's up to you to take your gutters and get them tied into that pipe. So we'll give you the access to the under drain, but
Yeah.
we're not gonna come to your house up to your gutter and do it. We'll leave you,
No,
I'm just saying, well-
going out,
well,
but
some
I
people
just
think
wanna
we
know
don't.
Who I can coordinate with.
if they're going out
on the
already,
Sidewalk.
if they're going out already, we will grab them. If they're not going out, you'll coordinate with me and I will get them marked out. I'll make sure a pipe is left for you.
Yeah, I'll plan July for it.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Chuck, is the wall. Seems like it's about 3 phases in terms of your drainage. Through the street, through the sidewalks, is the drainage system what's gonna take the most time
Yeah.
in the project?
Yes, that's gonna take the most time. I'm thinking he's gonna come in there, he's gonna start digging drainage. Let's say he starts at Walgreens. Somewhere in there, he's gonna start digging drainage. Once he's maybe 50, 60, 70, 80 feet away, he might start a curbing crew. Start laying curb behind him. So it's not that he's just gonna come in and do drain. He's gonna try to keep rolling, because the more he gets paid by quantity, what he gets done. The more he gets done, the more he gets paid when he puts his sheets in, and the sooner he gets done, the sooner he gets paid. So he's not looking to stretch this out. He's looking to get his job over with and get his money.
So then it wouldn't be, it wouldn't be, he's gonna do the drain, start one end, go to the other before he goes to the second phase. He's gonna try and actually follow that.
That's what I think. That's what he usually does, but don't quote me. I can't tell him what to do.
Why?
All I can tell him is he's gotta do the drainage first.
I figured it was all the drain first, then the next phase, then.
I think he's gonna keep rocking and rolling. He's gonna wanna get done.
Yeah, he's
That's
pretty
what I
good. He
think.
has a couple crews that comes right
Yeah.
behind. He moves pretty good.
Anybody else?
When are they gonna do the stumps?
They'll rip them out. That's why we didn't grind them. We're just gonna rip them out as we
They
go.
get pulled.
Oh, I
So we'll just
Yeah.
pull them. See, remember on Zoom? It's kinda-
Yeah, it was-
Yeah, we'll pull them as we go. You know, like I said, the end project, over the weekend, you're home, you're not going nowhere, go look at Linwood, go look at Ann Cypress Willow. 2 major projects we just did.
You can go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hey, how are you? So a few people on the street, including myself, we did our driveways last year. And so the last thing I want to have is the driveway have cut back 3 or 4 feet. So is there a way that you could skip over some of the houses that had driveways just done last year?
I can't skip over you because if I don't, I'm not saying they're all gonna get cut back. But for me to make the grade, we're rechanging the grade of the street. You can't see with your naked eye, but the street is gonna be on a curve. It's gonna be like this. So water hits the middle of the street and runs to the curb line. That resets the whole grade of the curb in the aprons. Sometimes we gotta cut the driveways back, sometimes we don't. Most of the time we do, because if I don't cut it back, your car is gonna scrape when you pull in. It's gonna scrape on it. We try not to cut them back, but to set the right grades, I have to cut them back.
You're talking about the actual entrance from the street or like the actual blacktop driveway?
The actual blacktop, when I put the apron and the sidewalk behind the apron, that resets the grade because I have to catch it from the grade of the street, from the curb. It could leave too much of a hump, not enough of a hump, and your car could scrape when you pull into your driveway. That's why we need to do cutbacks.
Okay. And then also, a few people, I guess, on the west side of the street, there was the mention of retaining walls. So if you have that needed for the retaining wall, when do you discuss that option?
I'll look, once the job gets started, we'll look through the plans, find out who gets the retaining wall. We'll stop with you and show you, I think we have 2 color bricks we're using, a red and a gray. You know, and give you a pick, but we'll let you know when we're starting, who's getting a wall, who's not getting a wall, who's getting a wall replaced. Everybody's not getting a retaining wall. Some houses are, some houses aren't. But
Yeah,
if you definitely knock on your door, I'll leave you a note.
How do you make the decision on who does and who doesn't? What's the decision?
That's all with the plans. It's all with the plans the engineering firm has. It's like Steve said, this job is all designed, laid out, all set to go. All the quirks are all taken care of, all the drainage, everything is set up. So we know on the plans who's getting them and who's not.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
That's it. Boom. Right.
Any problems after hours, call the police department. I didn't bring enough business cards with me and we have some Zoom people. My phone number is 973-857-4806. That goes to my desk, it goes right to my phone, so I answer my phone 24/7, 7 days a week. You'll call me, middle of the night, I'm calling him. I'm not getting up there. Yeah, so most likely you'll see George unless it's a catastrophe.
You said the speed signs coming.
Yes, the speed humps will come out. The speed humps are gone. They were put in, they were just put in. There's a whole criteria you gotta follow to put speed humps in nowadays. So once you take them out, it's a big ordeal to get them back in. And like I said, just call the cops any hour, any day, whatever, and they'll get in touch with me, and me and George will be out there.
All right.
All right, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thanks, Chuck. Thanks.
You're welcome.